Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I am Gary, your host, and this is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories in the art. Well, this time I just dug out a fistful of comics. They all happen to be DC comics, and they all happen to be Superman and Batman comics. That wasn't intentional, that's just the way it worked out. And just have a little look at some. These are all older ones. Some going way back. So the first one we're looking at is Superman number 300. That was a milestone, because comics don't get that high anymore. They keep starting over. But and this is only less than halfway through what the original. Well, over the years it got considerably higher. So this is from 1976, and it's Superman 2001. Just imagine the Man of Steel coming to Earth as a baby today and growing up in the world of tomorrow. Yeah, and that's, from today's perspective, that's funny, because this is a 50-year-old book, actually 49, but nearly 50-year-old old comic book. Uh-oh, the cat's coming to make a nuisance of himself again, and and it was looking forward to the turn of the century, which was nearly a quarter century ago now. This is a fine cover illustration by Curt Swan. I don't know who did the inks on it, but it's I have to wonder how many similar versions Curt Swan drew of this, basically this same scene. Of course, the destruction of Krypton, etc. And it has, Curt Swan did the interior art, written by Elliot S. Maggins and Carrie Bates, with Curt Swan and Bob Oxner. And of course, this is a story of what if Superman, of course, prologue recounting the destruction of Krypton and him coming to Earth now, but not landing in Smallville, Kansas or otherwise, and the Soviets and the Americans are racing to intercept this incoming rocket. The American one, they claimed the rocket. That's when they discover it's got a baby inside who is possessed of superpowers. Boy, he got them awfully quick without even being out in the sun. And they raise him up and call him Sky Boy, and eventually he grows up and then makes it's just a Superboy right on the cusp of being Superman. He winds up saving the Earth. You know, it has, and the look of their future is kind of funny. You know, typical. Of course, it looked nothing like what the 80s and 90s actually looked like. Of course, and he's at the outbreak of a nuclear war, he intervenes and saves the whole planet, then disappears. But then comes 2001, the turn of the millennium. And I remember, because the writers are right, so 2001, turning of the century, said, yes, that is correct. I know most people think the century started at the year 2000 and was the new millennium, but no. The year 2000 was the last year of the 20th century and the last year of the second millennium. 2001 was actually, because there's no year zero. So, and then another new menace pops up, and after several years of inactivity, Clark Kent digs up his old Superman costume and comes to the rescue to make another appearance as Superman, and then starts his superhero career. Then here we have, what's this? Action Comics #1, June 1938. No, not quite, because you see down here, 50 years and 50 cents. This was a special copy representing part of the first issue of Action Comics, and it was just part of the first issue. So it says right here, 50 years. It was for commemorating 50 years of Action Comics, and it, of course, represents some of the. This is when they had a big promotional thing for the Superman's birthday in 1988, and representing part of this story, and it's rather thin, because it's just that particular Superman story, and only part of it. Then representing a variety of covers from Action Comics over the decades, up to and featuring issue 600, which came out that year, of the first comic book in history to reach that high a number, in American history, that is. So then, going along with that is Superman. No, this is Action Comics #109 from 1947. Unfortunately, it does not have a cover, and it never has in my possession, and I've had this for decades. I think this was a copy that I got with an issue that I got with a handful of Captain Marvel comics from the Golden Age when I was a kid, that a neighbor found in their garage and gave them to me, and this was one of them, and it didn't have a cover at the time either. The Man Who Robbed the Mint. This is feature, but it's Action Comics. It is, of course, features Superman, but just in one story against the prankster. But then this is some interesting stuff that you don't ever see, because they're less significant characters. Is Zaitara, the master magician. This is Zaitara, who is the father of Zatanna, who is arguably had a more significant impact on the DC universe over the decades. And then another story, Congo Bill. Of course, Congo Bill was their equivalent of Jungle Jim. Interesting jungle story, and it's even got a little humorous story and a western story in there, and rounding up with Vigilante. I think that western story is the Vigilante. Yeah, the Vigilante. So it's not actually in the West, but it's Western-like, and that's quite interesting. Okay, then we have Superman's Girlfriend, Lois Lane, #136. I did, what was it, 109, 114, just yesterday. And this is from 1974. And this is a similar kind of thing. Now I know why Superman's marrying Wonder Woman instead of me. She just saved my life. They're a super team. Oh. Similar kind of things. The heavy-duty romance aspect has Wonder Woman as guest starring in here, and has the story written by Cary Bates with art by John Rosenberger, whose work I liked for some of the older stuff, and of course Vince Colletta as the inker. And this has Superman and Wonder Woman going to get married, and Lois is just heartbroken. Well, it was all a fake out to get this villain called the Revenger. who turned out to be a crazy woman who was put in a mental hospital when she basically was a Superman stalker. It sounds kind of like Lois. And she was a Superman stalker and rejected. And now she's trying to get revenge on Superman's current lady love, which it apparently was Wonder Woman. But it was all a scam to redirect her efforts away from Lois towards Wonder Woman, who is better able, even though it was actually Lois and her friend Melba who took the crazy lady down. Then we have Supergirl presents the Superman Family Giant. What year was this? This must have been about, what, 76, 78? 76, yeah. Kurt Schaffenberger, art, Carrie Bates wrote the story. And then has back, that was a new story. And then some other backups, reprinting Jimmy Olsen, Lois Lane from the Silver Age. And I think everything, no, that's not. But it has mostly features Kurt Schaffenberger art, because he also drew the Lois Lane story. Makes it look more like Shazam, Captain Marvel. Then we have DC Comics Presents Annual number 4. And of course, DC Comics Presents was basically a team-up title for Superman. It was each issue with Superman teaming up with some character. But here is what is unusual is it is teaming up with Superwoman, his own descendant from the future. Yeah. Elliot S. Magan wrote it. E. Barreto drew it, with inks by Jerry Ordway. So it has, you can really see Jerry Ordway's influence on these inks. It even has a guest spot with Batgirl. And it is a longer story, because this is a longer book, and it is all one story. It is a 38, 39, 40, a 40-page story. Okay, then we have another DC Comics Presents, number 49. And what year was this? This had to be 77, 78, 82, somewhere in there. And it is Superman teaming up with Shazam. Of course, this is pre-Crisis. Remember, at this time, all the Shazam characters were in another universe, the part of the S universe, Earth S. But the villain is Black Adam, and he has crossed over to Earth 1 and causing problems for Superman and this Earth 1's version of Billy Batson. And I think eventually I don't remember whether Captain Marvel crosses over from the other universe or that this Billy Batson is temporarily, no, there's both of them there, so he must have crossed over. So I don't remember. I think I want to read that one. And then it's the last of the Superman stuff. We got to Detective Comics number 5, 38, starring, of course, the Batman. And this is Curse of the Catman. And Catman is a character that has been around in the DC universe for a villain character for quite some time, counterpoint to Batman, and more so than Catwoman. But he's one that has been seldom used, and he's almost identical to a Catman a superhero from another publisher. I can't remember which one, from the Golden Age. And this is Doug Munch, art by Gene Colan. So there's some really beautiful stuff there. Of course, it would be more beautiful if it had remained uninked, because his pencils are just so lovely. And it's quite interesting. But then it follows up with Batman and Detective Comics number 612, not too long after it had reached its 50th anniversary, 612. And this features Catman and Catwoman. This is when Catwoman was still primarily a villain character, I think, from I'm not finding the 1990. So in the story is just cats with Alan Grant, writer. Norm Breyfogle is the penciler. Steve Mitchell is the inker. It's interesting stuff. Norm Breyfogle did a lot of stuff. And this Catman is an updated version of that other Catman. But ooh, this looks like an exciting one. I might want to read that one as well. Then we have Detective Comics 598, which takes place before this other one by about a year, a little over a year. But this is special because this was from, what year was this? 1990, I'm thinking. Or is it 89? I'm not finding it here. 1989. Yes, 1989. And this is a 3-part story. This is an 80-page giant. I mean, it's a 3-part story of his. This is featuring Blind Justice, Part 1 of 3. This is written by Sam Hamm. This is the story. Just last week or so, I covered Batman 89, and this is the story that Sam Hamm wrote for DC Comics. Sam Hamm was the writer, the primary writer of the Batman 1989 movie starring Michael Keaton. So he was invited to write a story here, and this is a long story because this 80-page giant and almost the entire thing is the first part of this storyline. Then with several pages of tribute, and they have a tribute of Batman by artists and writers, because as it leads up to, here is Detective Comics 599, Blind Justice Part 2, same creative team, same stuff, and same tribute stuff in the back, so this is the normal size. But as I said, it's leading up to this one. Detective Comics number 600. This is a great cover illustration by Dennis Cohen and what's his name? Malcolm Jones III. Oh, and so this would make a great poster. And again, this is an issue length. And this again is a larger square-bound, giant-sized book with the tributes in the back. But this another 60-page story. I think the part 1 was 60-page, and these 3 issues here. This one storyline is basically a graphic novel. Has it ever been reprinted as a graphic novel and that all together in one form? Because that's what it would appear to be. That is really, really cool. So that is concluding this batch. So I want to thank you for joining me. And please like, share, and subscribe. Ooh. There we go. And then that's a good cover too. And thank you for joining me. Like, share, subscribe. Leave your comments down below. Any of these issues in particular that you would find interesting for a deeper dive or anything like that, let me know. What, if any, do you have or have read or would like to read? Let me know in the comments down below. And remember, comics are art.